Look, it's no secret to anybody. 2024 is off to a slow start in terms of box office performance and quality of films. But I think that's about to change. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nick here from the Lost River Drive-In, and I'm back from California. While I was away, I had a lot of time to think about some things. And one of the things I thought about specifically was the movies we've gotten so far this year and what's to come. See, lately there's this narrative that has been going around that movie theaters are dying and the future of movies as we know them are going to change. And not only did I find that nonsense, but I actually found it just factually incorrect. Look no further than last weekend when Bad Boys Ride or Die exceeded all expectations at the global box office and looks like it's going to be a hit. That's great. That's awesome. Why is that? Because of star power. Because it's a franchise that people really like and people wanted to go see more of. We could go down the list about the reasons again why I found that argument to be nonsense, but it is undeniable that 2024 is off to a slow start. Look, for every The First Omen, you've had a Night Swim. For every Late Night with the Devil, you've had an Imaginary. You've had A Stranger's Chapter 1. I could go on and on. And even those films that I mentioned that I think are truly good films and got great reviews, Late Night with the Devil and The First Omen specifically, didn't exactly blow the doors off the box office. Now, in fairness, relative to Late Night with the Devil's budget, it actually was a modest success for IFC Films. But this wasn't a movie that was breaking records left and right. Now, that's not to say the bar should be set there for horror films, but in recent years, we've seen a lot of horror films really do well. It well exceed $100 million, and we just haven't seen that yet this year. Now, why is that? Looking at the crop of films we've had this year, one, The First Omen, I don't really know how you were going to sell a prequel to The Omen. The Omen has never been a franchise that's been big like some of these other ones. It's also not been in pop culture for almost 20 years. This was a prequel, it wasn't really marketed all that much, and it did okay, a little over $50 million worldwide, but the budget was $30 million. So best case scenario, the film broke even, nobody takes a bath on it, that's great. But again, wasn't a movie a lot of people were clamoring for, myself included. I was actually very pessimistic going into it and found myself really liking that movie, so I was pleasantly surprised. But that was kind of the mindset for a lot of people when it came to that movie. Look at Imaginary. Nobody cared. I mean, absolutely nobody cared. And when the reviews came out and they were overwhelmingly negative, people definitely didn't care. The Strangers Chapter 1. Relative to its budget of $8.5 million, it's done well. It's made more than 4 times that at the global box office, and it is a financial success. But it's made less than The First Omen, and The First Omen wasn't some big success. You look at Night Swim. Relative to its budget, again, it did well, but still, around $50 million worldwide. What is the trend we're seeing here? Well, as I said in that video about movie theaters and the box office as a whole, there's a lot of movies coming out where people don't know anything about it, didn't even know it was coming out, or simply don't care. And when you mix those things together, or you have any one of those factors, you're not exactly getting your casual moviegoer out to see the film. Now, a lot of people that review movies or collect movies or just are horror cinephiles, they're going to go out and see those movies. But that's why you end up with numbers between $30 and $50 million. We are not the majority. We are clearly the minority. We are not the casual moviegoer. We cannot be the barometer here. Whether we go see it or not is not at all indicative of whether Jimmy and his girlfriend are going to go see the movie on opening night. So 2024 is off to a slow start for a multitude of reasons. Is there any hope? Are we going to drag ourselves from this abyss? Yes. Yes, we are. And here's where it's going to start. In just a few short weeks, Maxine is going to be released into theaters for the world to see. This is going to be the biggest film in the X franchise, not only in terms of budget and scope, but also in commercial viability. A24 is betting on this movie. You've seen more marketing for this movie than you did for Pearl or X. I can guarantee you that. This is a lot easier to sell to your casual movie-going audience. This is a very nostalgic 80s throwback slasher while also seeming like it's a crime thriller mystery. What's not to love there? You can sell that to people. This movie is going to do very well. Now, is it going to make $150 million? No, I am not ready to predict that at all. But I think this is going to be the first movie that you actually see a pretty big opening weekend for a horror movie. I could be wrong, but I think Maxine's going to start it. Not long after that, you're going to have Longlegs. Now, Longlegs is going to be more of your typical indie play, I think. It's not going to blow the doors off of the box office, but I think it's going to get a lot of people talking, and I think it could be one of those movies that has life, like Hereditary does. I really could see that movie having a nice, lengthy run just based off of positive word of mouth. Then you're going to have Alien Romulus. Don't even get me started. Look, a lot of people will consider Alien to be more sci-fi action. That's fine. But by this trailer, it looks like they're going more back to the roots of Alien. More horror-driven. And Fede Alvarez has said as much, and his resume tells us that's probably going to be the case. This is going to be a big hit. Absolutely over $100 million worldwide, and I think it's really going to breathe new life into the Alien franchise. This one, bona fide banger coming. This fall, you're going to have movies like Terrifier 3. Look, Terrifier 2, relative to its budget, was a massive success. But the thing Terrifier 2 did so well was bringing Art the Clown into pop culture. Everybody knows that damn clown now. So you can expect Terrifier 3 to have a much wider release, a much longer release, and make a lot more money than Terrifier 2 did. Then you're looking at Smile 2. Look, I was somebody that was lukewarm at best after I watched Smile. I did not like it, nor did I hate it. It was fine. But that movie made a ton of money. And I can tell you, capitalizing on the Halloween season and making a sequel to a very popular film, it's going to do well. On top of that, you have Nosferatu coming this Christmas, which a lot of people are really kind of intrigued about. I myself am one of them. A modern take on that classic tale sounds really interesting. I think this movie is going to be a pretty big hit as well. No, we're not talking Alien Romulus numbers, but I think it's going to have good word of mouth, have a long run in theaters based off of that word of mouth, and churn out a good profit. Now, that's just some of the horror movies that are coming this year. But when you kind of stretch it further, you look at films like Venom 3. Look, Venom 3 is going to absolutely rake it up at the box office. That movie's going to make a ton of money, just like the first two films did. You've got Gladiator 2 coming, a sequel to one of the most beloved films of my lifetime. That movie is going to kill it as well. On top of that, you have a movie that has created so much internet buzz. It's going to have at least a big opening weekend, which is probably going to be more than enough to make the movie a financial hit, and it's going to generate discussion, and that is The Crow. Look, I think solely just for Bill Skarsgård and the title alone, this movie's going to intrigue enough people to where it's going to drive a lot of traffic and it's going to be successful. Now, whether people end up liking it or not is a totally different story. But look no further than Morbius. That movie made 2.5 times its budget and it was memed left and right. So even if The Crow does that, you're still looking around $200 million. A lot of memes, but $200 million would be worth it. So again, my point here is 2024 is absolutely off to a slow start, but I feel like this was always a year that was set up for the back half. And I thought that going into this year, and that was when we still had Saw 11 coming this year. I thought that this fall in particular, this late summer, fall, and early winter was going to be banger after banger. I know for a fact I'm going to be finding myself in the theater quite a few times in the back half of this year, and I'm sure a lot of you will too. So, although it's off to a slow start, there are reasons for that. There's also reasons for not only optimism, but I feel like making it a safe bet that things are going to improve and improve quite drastically. So hold on to your butts, relax, don't write obituaries for the horror genre or movie theaters as a whole. Let's give it these next 6 months, because I think a lot of those takes are going to be proven to be asinine, and I'm going to be keeping receipts. But I want to hear what you guys think down below. Although 2024 has started off slow, does this back half really get you excited? What are the ones you're really looking forward to most? Do you think I'm missing any that could really be sleeper hits? Whatever you want to discuss revolving around the slate of films in 2024, discuss it down below with me in the comment section. I thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is Nick. I appreciate you for stopping at the Lost River Drive-In, but I'm pulling out.